Hello everyone, this is a video on the Compromise of 1850. The Compromise of 1850 really came about in response to the Mexican War. John C. Calhoun famously said that Mexico was the forbidden fruit. The penalty of eating it would be subject our institutions to political death. Ralph Waldo Emerson said the United States will conquer Mexico, but it will be as the man swallows the arsenic. Mexico will poison us. Really what this is all about is the fact that after we achieved a lot of land from Mexico, the question had to be determined what was going to happen to that land. Was it going to be slave land? Was it going to be free land? And there were three different opinions as to how to handle this newly acquired Mexican cession. First, there was the David Wilmot free soil position, that slavery should not be allowed to expand into the West. Next, there was the John C. Calhoun resolutions position, that it was illegal to prohibit people from taking slaves into the territories because it violated the Fifth Amendment's protection of property. The next position, the third position, kind of the compromise position, was Lewis Cass and his idea of popular sovereignty or squatter sovereignty, that the people of the settled territories should decide for themselves whether or not there should be slavery. And on the basis of this idea, he ran for president in 1848 as a Democrat against Whig Zachary Taylor. However, Taylor, the war hero from the Mexican War, was able to defeat the Democrat Cass, as well as Free Soil candidate Martin Van Buren, and he becomes the next president of the United States. Shortly thereafter, or right around that same time rather, gold is discovered at Sutter's Mill, California in 1848, and this begins the famous gold rush of 49. Now, all these people emerged and, descended upon California, and what this did was it caused a massive problem. You had all these people coming into California, desperately looking for gold. It created a very unstable situation, a very violent situation where there was vigilante justice, crime, murder, all sorts of disarray, and this kind of increased the call for more security, more laws, and the only way to really guarantee that was going to happen is if you made California state and you did it quickly. So the state of California, or the future of California, really became a major issue in what would become the Compromise of 1850. There were several debates in 1850. One of them was the future of California. Would it be a slave state? Would it be a free state? What about the rest of the Mexican cession? Would they be slave states? Would they be free states? Would 3630 simply extend westward? What about the Texas border? There was a dispute over the northwestern part of the Texas border, where it actually existed. Some in the north felt that it was smaller than what it actually was, according to the Southerners. What about slavery in Washington, D.C.? Many people felt that slave auctions in our nation's capital were an embarrassment as foreign dignitaries visited. And then finally, what about the Underground Railroad? The Underground Railroad was very upsetting to Southerners, and they felt the North was doing nothing to return the runaway slaves, the property that escaped into the North. Only one person could really settle all these debates, and that was Henry Clay of Kentucky. Clay had been responsible for other compromises in the past, and he tries to put one big compromise bill called an omnibus bill before Congress to get it passed, but many people found it objectionable as well, including the President of the United States, Zachary Taylor. However, Zachary Taylor passes away, and the next president, President Millard Fillmore, takes over, and he is less of an obstacle to the compromise than Taylor might have been. So here's Henry Clay arguing in front of Congress, but still his bill does not pass in the Senate. One person, however, was able to get the bill through the Senate and the House, and that was Stephen A. Douglas. And the way he did it was to break the bill up into its separate parts. So here are the results of the Compromise of 1850 that Douglas, and not Clay, was able to successfully get passed through Congress. First, the border with Texas was reduced down to its present day size Texas lost the disputed territory to New Mexico territory, and in exchange, Texas received $10 million. Further, the state of California was admitted as a free state. The rest of the Mexican cession, here shown in purple, was divided up into two chunks, Utah Territory and New Mexico Territory. And the compromise over Washington, D.C. was that slavery would be allowed to continue, but the slave trade would be disallowed. There would be no more slave auctions in the city of Washington. Also, the fugitive slave law. What would happen with the fugitive slave law? And the final result of that was that a more strict fugitive slave law would be passed by Congress, allowing Southerners to pursue their runaway slaves into the North, a bill that was despised in the North by people who referred to it as the Bloodhound Bill. So that pretty much wraps up the Compromise of 1850. I don't think it really appeased either side. In fact, in many cases, because the North completely disregarded the fugitive slave law, it heightened the situation and made the South even more angry. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or to post them on the class Facebook page.